everyone, and welcome to my little craft corner. I am Tabby, and today I'm taking you to this library full of knowledge from the past. This junk journal I created a while ago, and I have to say I went a little bit overboard with it because originally it should only have 4 signatures, but as you can see we have 5 now because I had so many things I wanted to include into this junk journal. I just couldn't stop, and I just couldn't to decide what to not use for it, to say it like that. But let me tell you how I created it from the beginning. To have this character of an old library or a vintage library, I created the cover out of book pages, completely only out of book pages that are layered one on another, and just glued one book page on another until I got a few layers that got really sturdy. As you can see, it's like cardstock now. And to have this little bit more grungy, frayed look, at the edges I only had a few layers of book pages, so they will curl up a little bit and have this grungy, distressed look. And not only inside of this beautiful library we have a lot of old knowledge and old things. Also, the cover is made from book pages that are antique, so more than 100 or even more years. So just let me show you the journal all around. As you can see, for the spine I took some fabric that I just stabilized a little bit with some cardstock, so I have kind of a soft spine but with a little bit of a structure, of course. And here I used some trim just for decoration, and the back side of the cover is also made only from the book pages. And here you can also see this grungy, distressed look. And I used an elastic binding to have the signatures in here, because I thought it might come in handy to remove some stuff or to add a few more things. And since this is already really chunky and has a lot of it in it, sometimes it's easier to remove some signatures to work in them and then bring them back to the journal. Over here on the front, let's start like that. Just want to tell you what was the idea, or the initial idea for this journal. That was this scrapbooking paper pad by Stamperia, which is called Vintage Library. Just want to flip through that shortly because it's a really, really beautiful set or pack. Because I love, at least for me, because I love to read books and I also love fantasy. And we have some maps in here, so all the stuff that I like. We have some dragons, so these are more like the fantasy elements, a fortune teller. So I think the set itself, it's just beautiful. And that's why I wanted to use it and wanted to create this beautiful library. And in addition to the paper pad, I also got these die cuts that I used in the journal. And with this one, I created kind of a hidden compartment or a secret compartment, because you can take this part off, and behind you can find a tiny little notebook, or hidden in here. It's just a tiny little notebook for some little notes that maybe not everyone should see at the first glance. And I just closed it up with this piece of fabric that I stamped and stenciled around. And this one I created from parts of the Stamperia pad or the Stamperia paper, and I put these foam thingies you also use for card making to lift up things to have more like a 3D effect. So I took those to lift up this part from the cover to have this gap here where I can put in this little journal or little notebook. Of course, you can put everything in here, but I thought that that might be nice for a library to have a little bit of more like hidden secret knowledge. And I attach this part with some magnets over here, so you have underneath these two parts magnets, and here are the corresponding ones. And this part is basically only for decoration. But before I came up with the solution with the magnets, I had kind of another solution where I just clipped this die cut underneath this flower. What is right now only a decorative and a little bit more interactive element. But I had it kind of like that, so the flower should hold the die cut, but that wasn't stable enough, and so I wrapped around some twine to hold it in place. But yeah, that didn't hold really well. But since I liked the look, I just kept it like that, just for a little bit more like playing around. Maybe you can add some charms over here. Yeah, so I kept that, and this golden twine corresponds really well with the elastic binding that I also changed. Before I had in here some black elastic binding or black elastic, but that one wasn't from a really good quality, so it got loose, and so I also changed that. So I think that's it for the cover. If you're interested to know how to create a cover without any cardstock or anything sturdy underneath, just from layers of paper, of course I can show you how to do. So, but let's have a look inside this beautiful library to see what secrets and knowledge awaits us. We're starting with a part of the scrapbooking pad from Stamperia, with a beautiful owl sitting on some old books. This one I covered with another piece of scrapbooking paper that is not part of that set, just to have a little bit more of a writing space. And the inside of the spine are covered with this dark blue, navy blue kind of fabric. And here we have attached a small book page, also a really old book page, also from I think 1820 or whatever. And since these pages got loose a little bit, I just attached some washi tape to keep them together. In general, I used a lot of different kind of papers and different kind of digital kits and laces and whatever in this library, because I thought it is not only for having, I don't know, books inside, but it's more like really preserve all the knowledge that one has gained over the years or over a lifetime maybe. And so it's also about different kind of papers, magazines, book pages from different centuries. So I tried to stay a little bit in the theme, but of course I also like to just include different papers to make this journal come alive. So yeah, I started with some baking paper that I mostly like because of this crinkly, wonderful sound. And this one I used while I was coffee dyeing some copy paper. And this, these baking papers get a little bit of a different structure while they're getting wet and drying constantly. So that gives a really nice texture. This is from a digital kit, and I used several digital kits throughout the journal, and I will link everything down in the description box if I can find the kits. I already looked it up and I saw that some Etsy shops, because mostly I got these digitals on Etsy, are not available anymore. Yeah, but what I can find and what is available until this point, I will link down in the description box. Over here we have a beautiful old map. That is really, or that was a little bit fragile. So I took these pieces of packaging paper to protect it a little bit. And now it looks like maybe a cartographer wanted to take some notes over here. Yeah. And maybe the same cartographers donated this map to the library, so it is a preserved knowledge from now on. Here we have some lighter silky paper, some book pages, or one book page that I did this momigami technique on, where you take some hand cream and massage it into the paper so it gets really wrinkly but also really soft and almost, it feels like a combination of paper and fabric almost. So really soft and really nice. So it is super simple. Try it out yourself. It's really fun. Another digital kit that I thought matched, color-wise really nice, because I think the blue tones in here are corresponding really well with the blue tones in the digital, not in the digital kit, in the Stamperia kit itself. I also added a few book pages that I treated with some acrylic paint. I basically did it like I coffee dye paper, so I came up with a really thin solution of water and acrylic paint, and then I just put the paper into this acrylic paint bath, so to say. And so you only dye the paper, but without having a heavy layer of paint on it. This is an old magazine page that I just decorated with a little bit of a fabric trim. And then, since this one was also a little bit more brittle, I just took some washi tape over it to strengthen it so it won't tear. And it also, I think, at least, is a really beautiful washi tape that's really shiny, golden and elegant, so fits perfectly in this library. Okay, I forgot that I will add it later to my hidden notebook. That's another digital kit that I used in here from a planner or a notebook that I just coffee dyed and put in here. And as you may have noticed, I put these paper together really like messy or raggedy. So for example, this one I just teared a little bit and I tried to have different heights and have some things or some paper just crooked in here. So I get a lot of different layers and it feels like, well, everyone just took a piece he or she found and just put it in the library, put it or shuffled in just in a shelf and put it just there without a rhyme or reason, just to keep it in the library. So that was the idea, to stay with the theme, but I also think it makes it makes it really interesting to the eye, I think, and just interesting to go through. As I said, this is a part of a rice paper. Here we have Stamperia paper again, and this little dragon, he is kind of the keeper of the library. He keeps all these secrets and treasures and all this wisdom. Of course, you always need someone to keep it right. And who might be better for that job than a mighty dragon? Over here we have again some washi tape where I attached this part of the scrapbooking paper to this beautiful old book page. And over here we have a pocket that is basically created like a coin envelope, but without the flap. And we have a little text with some writing space. A belly band made from some trim. Some beautiful book pages with animal illustrations. An index card. So I tried to, or I think whoever came up with this library also wanted to keep some knowledge about flora and fauna, of course, about animals and plants, herbs. And over here we have a little notepad that I just decorated with a sticker and a label and attached some breads over here to keep it together. So this is basically just a really nice scrap buster. We have a small little scrap of wallpaper, some cardstock, few different sheets of paper, all of a different texture. So it's not only nice to have something you can write some smaller things down, like, I don't know, I always mention it, like a poem or an affirmation or whatever, but also to have all these different textures in here. Just, yeah, it's for all senses. Out of this little book page I made a flip out element, and over here we have the pocket. This index card I just coffee dyed to have this really grungy look. Another page from this beautiful book with I think animals from North and South America. This one is a flip out and a pocket. Here we have again one of these beautiful old book pages in these times they created it not only from paper but also from linen or cotton. So it was basically a mixture from paper, linen and or cotton, and it really feels more soft, and you can feel a bit like this structure, and it is kind of thinner but still sturdier. All over the journal I have these little bookmarks, and they are just put together like a few pieces of paper and this velvet trim in between. And this one is the one that sticks out at the bottom. I thought in an old library you would maybe also keep some knowledge about them, some paintings, or keep the paintings itself, and that's why I came up with some of these illustrations from some digital kits. Over here we have 2 pockets created out of the Stamperia set and an old playing card that I just altered with some gesso, acrylic paint, and then a sticker and a label. This journal has, of course, also a lot of writing space. And over here I just combined some papers, decorated it with the kit itself, put one of these beautiful journal cards from the kit in here, and created a little bit of writing space, but you can also use these beautiful old book pages throughout the journal. Yeah, so it serves different purposes, I think, besides being just pretty. I added a pocket in here out of the fabric that I also used for the outer spine, and I just strengthened it with some packaging paper. Here we have some information about herbs and flowers. Another one of these beautiful journal cards. Oh, and maybe I will get it in here so I know where it belongs to. And over here we have a pocket, again with one of these beautiful journal cards. And it's a tuck spot too, and also a large tuck spot here, so you could get in a lot of stuff in here. And over here we have again a beautiful page of this Stamperia kit. So now we're starting with the second signature, and I tried to, I used a lot of different papers, but I tried to repeat them all the time. So I picked a few digital kits, and you will find throughout the whole journal again and again parts of these digital kits, for example. Or I picked a lot of book pages from different books, but you will find throughout the whole journal again and again these book pages. And I think that's the way you can put things together really eclectic and take a lot of different parts, but in the end it will be one cohesive look and will find together as one journal. Even if you take a lot of different things like the scrapbooking paper, the digitals, some coffee dyed, some acrylic dyed paper, different styles and textures of paper will come together just cohesive. Over here we have a combination of an envelope and a pocket. Let's take this one for example. So it's a rather deep pocket. And this one I created out of some 6x6 papers. It is I think, really easy project. And you can create a lot of space with it in your journal. And it is fun. Simple and fun. Some smaller pages in between. This is an altered envelope that I created. I think it's a Roxy Weekly Challenge project. And I just decorated with some digital kits, a little bit of a post stamp. And in this really deep pocket, we have another notepad. And again, I used some wallpaper for the base over here. So just to have it nice and sturdy. And the whole envelope is like an over the page element. And you can write on it on the back. So it is both, like a pocket, over the page element, and writing space. Here again we have a beautiful owl and this gorgeous old paper. I used the Momogami technique again on this sheet of paper. So it is a normal copy paper, but since it is wrinkled and so soft now, it also feels sturdier and thicker. Again, a little bit of the Stamperia paper, and I created a small little notepad out of some wallpaper that almost looks like leather. Yeah, to be honest, just for, I don't know, playing around a little bit. If you want to, some really delicate lace in here. And lots of space for writing or being creative. I don't know if I already mentioned it, but you can buy this journal in my Etsy shop. And I will link my shop down below in the description box. Yeah, if you're interested in buying this journal, just follow the link to my shop. Over here we have a pocket out of some beautiful fabric that is a little bit shiny and it feels just super nice. And I attached some washi tape with glue and sewed around it so it doesn't get loose. And I think it is almost like it belonged together, right? Again, a little bit more of a decoration with some trim and laces, a fold out element. This one I left as a fold out element, but you can of course just glue it down and have a deeper tuck spot. And I just decorated it with some lace. This is a tag created out of wallpaper, and I just love this golden wallpaper. It's just beautiful. Decorated it with just a label, a little bit of a trim, a sticker, and we have a belly band created out of basically a scrap out of this kit from Stamperia. All the digital pages I just dyed a little bit on the back because I don't like this plain white paper. Another book page created with this momigami technique. Wallpaper that whoever kept in here just because of its prettiness, I think. Just a little element to play and maybe to write on it. And this page I thought was so pretty that I didn't want to include it in a signature to basically split it in half so you would only see one or the other side. So I just attached it to a more narrow piece of paper as a fold out, so you can enjoy it as a whole. And throughout the journal I always used some washi tape to decorate or to hinge things. Here I have another large tuck spot. And as you can see, a lot of space for writing, but also a lot of different things to explore. Here I made just a little thing to slide in. This is more like a fold out journal card. Another deeper pocket and one of these smaller notebooks. I just take out these bookmarks. They are all made the same way and place them in the journal after my flip through. And here I attached a little notepad that I didn't sew together or attach in any other way, because I thought, of course, you can use it just as a notepad itself, or you can use these papers throughout the journal to decorate and play around with. And then I just keep it together with this little clip. This is also apart from the die card set from Stamperia. But I think in the future I might prefer these ephemera stickers a little bit more, because these ones are pretty, of course, but they're really thick. They're also very sturdy. I think they are more, I would use them more on a cover because of the thickness, and don't use them so much in the journal because they can create a lot of bulk and add up. So I just used a few elements out of that die cut set. Of course, some information about plants. This tag should be in here. I don't know why it isn't. This is a tag with a little bit of a pocket, and you keep it in this pocket created out of these little book pages. Oh, now I know why it wasn't in here, because I first flipped through for the German version of the flip through. Yeah, and then I wanted to get it back into the back, and yeah, forgot that, obviously. Here we have, oh, I first thought it is a tuck spot. No, it's just a little bit of a decorative trim. And here I just cut a few like windows out of this Stamperia paper, just for fun, I would say. Yeah, just for playing around a little bit. So I have this tag in here, again one with a pocket, and if I put it in here, you can see, yeah, you can see it over here. Because sometimes we just want to play around a little bit, and whatever the person who might get this journal will put in here, you can see it over here like a little peekaboo. Yeah. In here I added another journal card and this little part that I think I cut it out over here. I just added here, and you have an additional writing spot over there. A belly band, again out of some lace or a trim. And you can also attach smaller pieces together. I have these smaller piece of a rice paper, and this one of course would be too small just to get it into the signature, at least I think so. And I just attached different small things together, and so they fit together as one page. I have some smaller bags that I just put in the journal into a pocket created out of some wallpaper, and just decorated a little bit with rice paper, or a scrap piece of rice paper. Another tag with a pocket created out of a book page. And here we have another tag with some writing space inside. And again in one of these beautiful fabric pockets with some washi tape. I always like these smaller elements to write down things, because, for example, I love to use my junk journals not as a diary, but more as a memory keeper. Maybe you already saw how I created my memory keeper for 2026. In case you didn't, I will link it down below. And I love to keep different things in there. I love to keep, for example, different lists in there. For example, the books I read, or movies or series I watched, or since I am a person who loves to play board games, I track which board games I played this month or whatever. And I always like to keep tags or journal cards. And yeah, I think it is a good idea to use these smaller things in a journal for things like that. Or if you like to keep or write poems, they're perfect for that. Here I just used some scraps, added one of these die cards and created this little cluster. added a few little scrap pieces together to a smaller page. In here we have one of these glycine bags with some stuff to just play around in the journal, so you could use it as an embellishment but also as a small journal card. Same with this one, and we have again one of these small little notebooks. And there's still plenty of space to add and keep whatever you want to keep in here. Over here we have a beautiful element to keep smaller things in here. Maybe tickets or maybe things you want to add later somewhere in the journal, you can keep in here. Some ephemera pieces. And if you're interested to see how to do that, just write it in the comments and tell me, so I might do a little tutorial for that. Here we have one of these beautiful pages from Stamperia, and I love the combination that they did from a library but also this more fantasy-like theme. And that's a beautiful idea, right? Who wouldn't? So I would love to live in a house that is basically a book. I would live there, of course. Here I added another pocket or multi-layer pocket, because it's not only one, it's 2, 3, and 4, or that's more a tuck spot, but 4 pockets in one, and one of these beautiful journal cards from the kit. Here I created another notebook with a lot of writing space. Just added different papers, decorated a little bit, and this is also like a little pocket. And you can keep it in the journal, but I think you can also take it just separately. And this is our last bookmark I created. Over here I used one of these border punches or edge punches, and I just love these illustrations in this book, so I added a few of them. More baking paper. And again, one of these combined envelopes with a pocket. And over here I used this lace or trim as a tuck spot. This is a milk bag paper in this milk packagings, and this is a really soft paper, so it has a really soft texture, but it is also really sturdy. These parts of a digital I used throughout the journal too, because I love this black and white. This is again a 2-in-1 element, like a large pocket and oops, my journal is dancing a little bit, and a journal spot. And this one I created from a book page where I printed a part of a digital kit on. So that's also where you can alter your book pages. Of course, if we take books apart, we have always a lot of book pages, but we can also get really creative with that, I think. This is out of an old calendar, or it was more like a magazine, but a calendar magazine, so to say. And all these pages are created the same way with a little picture over here, and then you have the whole month, and it is super beautiful, illustrated and created. And yeah, I just liked how it was done. Here we have again some silk paper and a Stamperia page, and I created over here, so this is the page and the doors were closed, and I just cut the doors open, and so you have an interactive element. And behind these doors I found this little wisdom. But of course, whoever will get this journal can have their own secrets behind here. But for now, I would really be happy if you would give me a like if you like this flip through so far, and maybe subscribe if you want to see more videos like that. And if you know somebody who is also into reading or libraries or fantasy, just share the video with that person. Here we have a pocket and a little fold out, flip out element. And of course, in a library like that, we cannot miss any information about mushrooms, right? Here again, I used some washi tape just to decorate the edges of the page. And I love this washi tape because of its golden shine. Again, one of these milk packaging papers. 2 little journal cards, and as I said, you can always create a lot of things from these book pages. This is just a simple pocket in this library card or library pocket style, decorated with a few bits and bobs, a wine label, and here I have to say, unfortunately, reached the end of this old vintage library. This is an element I already showed you, where I just put some papers together for some writing space, but also having just papers to play around with a little bit. Another journaling card with a cute little mouse. And again, a pocket out of this super nice fabric that I used for the spine. This beautiful vintage library is closed for now. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed this flip through and enjoyed what I created. If you have any questions how I made this or that in the journal, just get in touch with me, write me a comment. I hope you got a lot of inspiration for your own journals, your own projects, and got a lot of ideas. And I wish you a crafty day and hope to see you soon. Bye.